structure. So all those
This meeting is being recorded.
All those proteins which have a tertiary structure are also known as spherical proteins or globular proteins. ठीक है? Hemoglobin is an example of a globular protein. Hemoglobin is a globular protein. Why? Because it's a protein molecule folded into a ball shape. The tertiary structure inside the hemoglobin is important for its solubility. Why? Because the non-polar hydrophobic R groups, they point inwards, shielded from the aqueous environment. Whereas the polar hydrophilic R groups, they point outwards, maintaining solubility facing the aqueous environment of the body. All such proteins which are globular in shape, which have a tertiary structure, and in which the non-polar groups are facing inwards and the polar groups are facing outwards, are soluble in water. And their three-dimensional globular compact shape is the key to their function. अच्छा, if you are asked in exams कि what are globular proteins, उनके आप examples बताओ, तो the examples that you will give will be, of course, सबसे पहले तो hemoglobin, then you can say enzymes are globular proteins, antibodies are globular proteins, and some of the hormones like insulin and glucagon are also globular proteins. और ये इन तमाम proteins का soluble होना इसलिए ज़रूरी है, and you can also write it down. You know why is it crucial for all such proteins to be soluble in water? Because they have a functional role. अगर हम देखें enzymes भी body में catalyze करते हैं reactions, right? Antibodies are giving you or protecting you against diseases. Insulin is a hormone which is controlling your blood glucose concentration. फिर उसके बाद हीमोग्लोबिन इज अ प्रोटीन दैट इज कैरिंग ऑक्सीजन. तो अगर देखा जाए तो इन सब में एक चीज कॉमन है, वो क्या? कि दे हैव अ फंक्शनैलिटी. All those proteins which have a functional role rather than a structural role have to be soluble. क्यों? बताओ मुझे क्यों?
I'm not sure actually.
नहीं. But I can't hear you. जी बेटा?
I'm not too sure about this one.
Not sure. See, what are we doing? We are doing globular proteins, ठीक है? और what did we say? कि globular proteins are those जो कि इस तरह से extensively fold हो जाएं. Basically globular proteins का मतलब any protein having a tertiary structure, ठीक है? अगर किसी प्रोटीन के पास tertiary structure है तो वो globular है, क्योंकि उसने अपने आप को ऐसे fold कर लिया कि एक ball बना दिया. अच्छा, ball ऐसे ही कोई random ball नहीं बनाया. It has been made into a ball in such a manner that the hydrophilic groups are pointing outwards and the hydrophobic groups are pointing inwards. तो इसका तो एक रीजन है. इसका रीजन ये है कि to make the protein water soluble. अब आपका जो पूरी बॉडी है, that's 5 liters of blood and blood plasma, ठीक है? हर वक्त आपके साइटोप्लाज्म में रिएक्शंस हो रहे हैं. Enzymes are very active in doing things. Hormones are just circulating in the blood इधर से उधर. हाँ, एक जगह से हार्मोन प्रोड्यूस हो रहा है, दूसरी जगह में जा रहा है. Insulin is produced in the pancreas, being transported to the liver. Antibodies जो है वो आपकी प्रोड्यूस हो रही हैं वाइट ब्लड सेल से, और वो जगह जगह जा रही हैं टू प्रोटेक्ट यू फ्रॉम डिजीजेस, ठीक है? फिर हीमोग्लोबिन भी एक ग्लोबुलर प्रोटीन है जो कि कैरी करी ऑक्सीजन. तो व्हाट इज कॉमन, व्हाट इज वन थिंग व्हिच इज कॉमन इन ऑल दोस डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ प्रोटीन्स कि ये कोई फंक्शन कर रहे हैं, राइट? अच्छा, फंक्शन इनको कहाँ करना है? दे हैव टू डू द फंक्शन इन द एक्वस एनवायरनमेंट ऑफ द सेल. एक्वस का मतलब पानी, right? So it is imperative that such proteins need to have a globular structure and also in such a manner that all their hydrophilic groups are pointing outwards to make them water soluble, and all their hydrophobic groups are pointing inwards so that सारे जो non polar groups हैं वो बीच में चले जाएं. तो क्या कॉमन है इसमें? ये कॉमन है कि all of them have a functional role. ये किसी न किसी फंक्शन में लगे हुए हैं, और क्योंकि फंक्शन पानी के अंदर हो रहा है, so they have to be water soluble. How? What is a way by means of which we can make them water soluble? To have a tertiary structure and to make them fold in such a manner that the hydrophilic groups are pointing outwards and the hydrophobic groups are pointing inwards. अब समझ में आ रही है बात?
Yes, miss.
समझ आई बात? ये बिल्कुल ऐसे है कि देखो इन सब प्रोटीन्स को कोई ना कोई काम करना है, राइट? काम करने के लिए they have to have such kind of a structure. ऐसा the hydrophilic groups, ये वाले हैं hydrophilic, they should point outwards, aqueous environment की तरफ. ताकि ये जल्दी जल्दी काम करें, रिएक्शन करें, ठीक है। हाइड्रोफोबिक सारे अंदर छुप गए, चाहे कितने भी हाइड्रोफोबिक अंदर होंगे, इट डजंट मैटर एट ऑल, वो अपना काम करते रहेंगे। So this is common to all the globular proteins. This kind of structure is common to all the proteins which have a tertiary structure. और इसमें जो examples दी हुई हैं, these are the examples: enzymes, antibodies and insulin. ठीक है? अच्छा, hemoglobin is a very special protein. You know why? Because hemoglobin has a globular structure also and a quaternary structure also. Why, Alia? Why would I say कि hemoglobin के पास globular structure भी है, quaternary भी है?
Miss quaternary because it has more than one chain.
बिल्कुल सही। और globular क्यों?
Because Miss it's extensively folded.
Exactly, because it's extensively folded. अच्छा, go through this. आपको इसकी भी definition पता होना चाहिए कि what is a prosthetic group. अभी अभी मैंने आपको बताया था about prosthetic group, heme, ठीक है? So just go through this, read this carefully.